Welcome back. We are talking with Dr. Russell Blaylock about health and nutrition secrets that can save your life. And I just want to let everyone know we are so honored. We've been able to put together a 3 DVD pack of 3 different shows that we have done with Dr. Blaylock. These are fantastic. We've got excitotoxins. You've got to get that one. Neurological threats, which we're talking about today. This affects our mind and our brain and our neurological health. And then we have, this one is so important too, natural strategies for the cancer patient. There is hope. There are things you can do. This is wonderful. So you want to be sure you call today and get that 3-pack DVD set.
Of course, all those books and everything
too.
Just tremendous
Fantastic books. Dr. Blaylock, there's so much in the environment today that's affecting our health. We're hearing about Prozac in our water. Yeah, Prozac in the fish, actually. Birth control pills in the water. Yeah. So I know that environmental toxins are big. What about pesticides? Yeah. Do those affect our neurological health?
Well, yes, pesticides are underestimated by most people. But if you look in the scientific literature in which they're describing the neurological effects of pesticides, what they find is, in fact, even low doses can have profound effects, particularly in certain people. These people seem to be the ones who cannot detoxify the pesticides. And what they found in 6 cases that reported in the Annal of Neurology was that these people were spraying bugs in their house with pesticides, and they developed profound immediate onset Parkinson's disease.
My word.
And they took them out of the environment, put them in the hospital, and slowly they recovered.
Now, all across America, people are spraying cockroaches every single day of the year. Pesticides, herbicides, it's everywhere, doctor. Right. And you're saying that in some people... very sensitive.
Because they can't detoxify. Yeah. They develop this explosive Parkinson's disease. Well, when these people returned from the hospital back to home, immediately it came back on full-blown again. My goodness. Well, they were so sensitive, they moved into a new home with no pesticides, and the lady wanted a blouse from her old house.
Oh, no.
She put it on, developed full-blown Parkinson's because of the small residue of the pesticides in her blouse produced full-blown Parkinson's
What about
disease.
Farmers and ranchers and, you know, cotton farmers, and they're spraying pesticides, and I know they want to have an abundant crop. I understand that. But this can be really a problem. Now, do farmers have an unusually high-rated disease from pesticides? Do we know?
They have the highest incidence of Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and cancer.
So there's really no doubt.
This was what led to the discovery of the connection to pesticides, was that people who live on farms have such a high incidence of these neurological disorders.
And we think of that as basically healthy living, good exercise, out in the sunshine and fresh air, but they're exposed to all these chemicals. My goodness.
I'd like to know where there are hidden pesticides in our foods and in our environment.
Oh,
do we get those daily without knowing?
My goodness.
Yeah, I mean, it's soaked in all the soil and dust, and so when dust is tracked into the home, you have pesticides, and things like golf courses are saturated with pesticides and herbicides to keep them nice and green and clean. And so we're all just absolutely soaked with these concentrations of pesticides.
Well, let's end this discussion on a positive note. Now, in my family history, my father passed away with Alzheimer's disease. Maybe there's MS in your family. Maybe you come from a lineage of farmers exposed to pesticides. What are the things we can do on a daily basis that will help prevent this type of damage, clean up our environment? Let's talk about the positives, what we can do to help with this.
Well, again, what they found in the pesticide brain damage is that it's an excitotoxic mechanism in most cases. So all the things we said about excitotoxicity you can use, the B12 and the folic acid and the riboflavin and the DHA and the magnesium.
Okay.
We also know if you increase your detoxification enzymes, you can do the same thing. And that's very, very important in cancer prevention and the pesticide neutralization. Well, you can do that with things like indole-3 carbinol, your carotenoids like beta-carotene, alpha-carotene, lutein, curcumin, quercetin. They all make the liver and the detoxification enzymes work at peak activity. So you can detoxify a whole host of very toxic chemicals.
Do you go into that type of list in your books about how we can clean ourselves up? Because is this playing a role in our increasing number of cancers, do you think, this toxicity in our environment?
It does. Diet is number one. Toxic exposure through pesticides is number 2, and they're interlinked. Because if you have a poor diet, it makes you more vulnerable to the chemical pesticides as well. So there is a strong connection that we see, and this is a lot of things that physicians and others miss, is these interconnectedness of all of these different things. Because everybody wants to say, well, what's the one thing? What causes Parkinson? Well, it's all an inflammatory disorder of the brain with excitotoxicity, but like we said before, you're hunting out the causes. Well, we know heavy metals can do that, pesticides can do that, diet can do that, vaccines can do that. So all of these things are working through the same central mechanism.
You know, as I was preparing for our programs today, I jokingly told you that I couldn't get my work done because I was so engrossed in this book, Health and Nutrition Secrets. Dr. Blaylock is a gifted writer, and his experience, I hate to date you, but many years of study and clinical expertise, it all shines through. You know, Cindy, have you ever noticed when really bright people write, even us average people can follow?
That's right.
It's not complicated when smart people explain it in terms that we can all follow. And that's what I love about Health and Nutrition Secrets that can save your life. It's easy to follow. But doctors, nurses, and health care professionals, there's material in here that you will appreciate too, and it's a great reference. If you want to learn something about heavy metals, look it up. You want to learn something about what's the new deal on mammogram? What about the x-rays in the mammogram? Is it really worth the price? You can look that up. What about macular degeneration? You want to know what the nutrients are to help prevent the macular degeneration, how to change your lifestyle to prevent the blindness? Just look it up. It's a great reference. It's in my library, and it should be in yours. Let's go to our break, and when we return, we'll have the wrap-up.
We're back. Okay, Dr. Blaylock. Our seniors are always foremost in our thoughts, and I tell you, they are being really pushed to get flu shots every year. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's all based on false numbers. They say 36,000 people a year die. Well, if you look at the figures on the CDC site itself, you know, the Center for Disease Control, it says, well, no more than 150 to as high as 1,500 die a year. Well, if it was 36,000 a year, that's equal to the worst flu epidemic since 1917 happening every year. So they know that's a lie. Yeah. But it sells flu vaccines. The other thing is, we know that the success rate of the flu vaccine is less than 35%. So most people, the vast majority, are getting no benefit from the vaccine at all. Now, the worst news is that a study has shown that if you get the flu vaccine every year for 5 years in a row, it increases your risk of developing Alzheimer's disease tenfold.
Tenfold? And so how many people get it every year?
Every year.
Like clockwork. They make an appointment. That's the first thing they do in the fall is get that flu shot.
Because that flu shot has full mercury in it, and it's overstimulating their immune system.
All that immune inflammatory stuff starts triggering.
And it has high doses of aluminum in it. So here the elderly are being frightened into getting this vaccine, which gives them no protection, which drastically increases their risk of a serious degenerative brain disorder. And it's just predicated on a massive lie.
Since I quit taking the flu shot, I've never had the flu.
Yeah. Well, here's the other important study that was done and reported in the Annals of Internal Medicine. They studied the flu shot for 30 years. They found out there was, at the end of 30 years, there was no decrease in death rate in the elderly who got the flu shot. There was no decrease in hospitalizations. The two reasons that they tell people you need to get your flu shot. So here's the biggest study, longest study ever done, which proved that it does not reach those objectives. So why go down and get a shot of mercury and get a vaccine that's ineffective?
Unbelievable, isn't it?
It is.
Doctor, you've made us think of these issues in ways I've never thought of before. I have one parting question. You've been a successful man, you're a surgeon, a neurosurgeon, you've written books, you're a success, and yet you continue to serve humanity. Why? What is it?
Well, you know, it's just something that's so inhumane. You know, we're supposed to, as Christians, to help one another.
Yes.
To serve.
Yes.
And because we've been given gifts, which Jesus said, you were given gifts, give freely to others. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm trying to do. I learn these things, and I say, well, I can't just keep this to myself.
No.
Other people need to know.
Thank you for joining us, and you will have the opportunity to spread the word on this program anytime you want. Thank you, folks, for having us into your homes. Hope to see you again here tomorrow on Your Health.
Thank you. Bye-bye.